All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to restart, and this is 2 chapters in one day. I just read chapter 25 and a little while ago, and it's later, and I'm going to read chapter 26 just because I can't wait. And if you recall, if you were with me, it's Joel. We're in Joel's perspective, Joel's point of view. Whew. Well, we know what happened in the last chapter. It's just, oh, Chase, the memory of the girl, the first memory he had when he woke up, the girl, the blue dress, the white trim, the red, blonde-haired girl, young girl, wasn't a real person, but actually a painting. He saw it in the neighbors next door were moving. A large portrait was being moved out. That was her, and he had seen her somehow. He asked the lady who lived there, his neighbor, did I see that? Where was? She said, well, no, it was upstairs in our solarium. There's no way he could have seen it. He's not been in the house to see it. However, he did see it, and he figured out, and he went up on the roof, but not in the normal place he sat and where he thought he had fallen from, but from a different place. He crawled up the peak with a very steep pitch to the roof, very hazardous and treacherous. The roof goes up this way, and he's walking up this way, and he's slipping. So he got all the way to the top of the peak, and he looked over the peak, and right there next door, he could see right into the solarium, and he could see on the wall where the portrait had hung. There was a clean space. So that's where he saw it. That's where he fell from. Much higher on the roof, on his roof, in a more treacherous place. And he couldn't figure out at first, why would he go up there? But then he did figure it out. Because knowing that he took the medal, he saw it. He stashed it up there when he was the alpha rat chase before the accident. And him chasing it up there, him seeing the neighbor in the window wanting to take a picture, fell. And he fell on his head and became who he is, our awesome Chase. So he's got the medal, Mr. Sloven's medal and war medal, and is taking it to him. Took it downstairs, wrapped it in a towel, stuffed it in his pocket, is headed out to Mr. Sloven so he can give it back and explain. Now, my prediction, rarely do things move that smoothly in stories and in books to where he's just going to go there and everything's great. I think maybe something's going to happen on the way. I also think if he doesn't make it to this meeting that Brendan has set up, Brendan has the video with, he invited Shoshana and Joel and Kimberly. If he doesn't show up, that's going to be leave even more of a bad taste in the mouth of his video friends. They're already angry at him. As if he doesn't care, kind of thing. So a number of things could go wrong, but the one thing that's right is he finally found the medal, and that's a great thing. So chapter 26 is Joel Weber, and let's see. My black eye doesn't hurt anymore, although I look like I lost a game of chicken with an Amtrak train. Appearance-wise, the healing process might be worse than the bruise itself. It's when the swelling starts to go down that the new colors sprout up amid the black and blue, purple, greens, yellows. Every time I catch my reflection, there's a whole different palette in the piece of modern art on my face. I saw a little bit of orange yesterday. And I don't know if you've ever had a really bad bruise, but that can happen. All kinds of colors can appear in a bad bruise. I'm the only one in my family who finds the changing colors around my eye socket so intriguing. In a weird way, it's easier on me. If I'm sick of looking at myself, all I have to do is stay away from mirrors. My parents don't have that opinion. When they see my black eye, in any of its stages of evolution, they are stricken with guilt. I think we know why his mom and dad feel bad for bringing him back. Look what happened. We brought you back. You've only been back 2 weeks, and look. Everybody's bothered by it, but Joel himself. Maybe it was the wrong decision to bring you home, my father reflects sadly. Of course it wasn't wrong, I try to assure him. I hated Melton. I hated it there. But aren't you afraid that, and my mother lets out a short wheeze sob in C sharp, it might be starting up again? Afraid? Sure I am. And Chase, Aaron, and Bear, when they were all over me last year, it was painful and humiliating and downright scary. And if you can't even ride your bike without a lacrosse stick, sailing out of nowhere and sending you flying, life becomes impossible. You know it's not your fault. You know those guys are idiots. And yet you can't help thinking you somehow deserve it, that you might be just a teeny bit less worthy than everybody else. After all, how come no one is picking on any of them? But as worried as I am about all that, I think what bothers me the most is how wrong I was about Chase. I honestly believed he'd changed. I was even starting to like the guy. It goes to show how mistaken a person can be. My parents' reaction is bad enough. My sister's is off the chain. Every chance in the bruised topography of my face launches her into a new revenge fantasy about what she would do to Chase. If I were in charge of the world, some of these are so brutal and bland, in some cases so downright gross that I have to cut her off. Come on, Shosh, I explain as the two of us head for Brendan's house on Sunday morning. Listen to yourself, like you'd never put another human being through a wood chipper. I never said another human being, she replies evenly. I said alpha rat, and if you were paying attention, I said I'd feed him in feet first. That way he'd get to watch while his whole lower body... Enough, I interrupt. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. The Spanish Inquisition wouldn't do that. Only because the wood chipper hadn't been invented yet, she tells me suddenly. Anyway, I sigh, anxious to change the subject. I wonder what Brendan wants. What do you think? She snarls, still in a bad mood. He has another stupid idea for a YouTube video, and we're the cast and crew. The text said, that's not it. I remind her, remember? It better not be. Otherwise, Brendan's going to be in the wood chipper. That's my sister. No problems ever so small that she can't overreact to it. We start up the Espinosa's front walk and come face to face with Kimberly. Oh, hi, guys. She gives me a long, hard look. Your eye is better, she adds dubiously. I'm okay, I say quickly. I don't want Shosh to nominate any more candidates for the wood chipper. You also got the text? My sister asks Kimberly. She nods, and Chase is coming too. What? Chase? Shosh grabs my arm and starts dragging me back down the walk. Brendan explodes out of the front door and runs up to us. Where are you going? Chase Ambrose isn't coming anywhere near me or my brother, Shosh seethes. That's why I invited you. Chase is innocent. She keeps pulling me along. Well, not totally innocent, Brendan pleads, but he didn't hit Joel on purpose. He was just blindsided, as we were. I've got proof. What proof? I ask. One-man band, he explains. The video survived, and it proves that Chase was trying to stop Aaron and Bear. We're going home, Shosh insists. You go home, I tell her. I'm staying. Here, she demands. With that guy coming over here? This time, I don't let her push me around. I want to know what happened. I have to see it for myself. And she stays too. She doesn't go, probably because she thinks I need protection. A lot of guys would be embarrassed about that, but I'm at least a little bit grateful. At any minute, Chase is going to walk in Brendan's front door, and I can't predict how I'm going to feel about that. I've seen him around school here and there, still. This will be the first time since the fire extinguisher incident that we'll be in the same room together. We establish ourselves in the living room couch. Brendan sets up his computer on the front coffee table. I transferred this from one of the flip cams, he explains. I brought it home to shoot something else, and this was on it. He puts out some snacks, and we settle in and wait for Chase. 20 minutes go by, and then we're up to a half hour. Now, we know where Chase is, but they don't realize what's happened. They don't know, how could they, that Chase is going to Mr. Slovin's to give him back the medal he stole. They just, as anyone would if you were in their situation, you would think he's ditching them. He's not coming. Now, that's just going to make some there very disappointed and others there rightfully, well, angry. We know who. Kimberly is impatient, mostly because Chase is the only reason she's here. Where is he? She says. Brendan texts again, but there's no answer from Chase. Well, what did you expect? Shosh scoffs. He said he was coming, Brendan insists. He cares as much about you as he cares about everybody else except himself. Zero. Face it. He blew you off. My sister stands up. Come on, Joel, let's go. We've already wasted enough of our lives courtesy of Chase Ambrose. I turn to Brendan. Play the video, Brendan. Chase can see it some other time. We fast forward through most of it, watching musician Brendan popping up all around the risers, playing different instruments for this one-man band. Then he switches into regular playback once the tuba sequence comes up. And we remember as we were reading, the tuba sequence, that's just as that was ending, that's when the idiots rushed in with the fire hydrants, fire extinguishers, not hydrants. I feel my stomach muscles tense. As much as I've been bullied, I've never had the opportunity to actually watch it happen before. The impatient expression on Shosh's face is replaced by one of intense concentration. I don't get it, Kimberly puts in. All I see is Brendan. Where's everybody else? You and Joel are there, but you're both out of frame, Brendan explains. Just keep watching. We hear Aaron and Bear fling the doors open even though they're off camera. The first thing we actually see are two jets of white foam that catch Brendan full in the face. He goes down, tuba and all. It would be funny if I didn't know what was coming next. When the streams of foam change direction to some target off screen to the right, I know I'm the one in the line of fire. There's a lot of yelling going on, and I hear my own voice in there with Brendan, Kimberly, and the two attackers. After a few more blasts of foam, Aaron and Bear step up into frame, appearing on the side of the screen. The next part I remember all too well. Aaron and Bear are tossing instruments all over the place and trashing the band room, and I try to take on Aaron, but he shoves me down into the foam. It's hard to watch, but not as hard as I thought it would be. This is not who I am, I tell myself. It's just something that happened to me. Somehow, seeing it unfold in real time in high definition video, I'm able to expand the fracas in the band room to include every rotten, bullying thing that was ever done to me. Here I am, alive, undamaged, well, except for my eye. I've been victimized, but I don't have to let that define me as a victim. I'm back at home and back to myself. That's when Chase makes his appearance on the computer screen. He seems totally stunned by what he finds, even when Bear thrusts the fire extinguisher into his arms. I sit forward eagerly because that's my fire extinguisher, the one that's about to bash me in the eye. As I watch Chase and Bear struggling over the shiny metal cylinder, I tense, knowing it's coming any second. I'm following the combatants, checking for the high sign, the nod of an acknowledgement that shows that the three of them are in cahoots, and it's time to clobber the kid, the kid who got us community service. But it doesn't come. Chase wins the tug of war, and my face gets in the way. That's all that happened. It was an accident. Brendan pauses the video. It was an accident, he says triumphantly. An accident. I agree, I tell him. Wow, Chase must be really strong, is what Kimberly gets out of it. Shasha's cheeks are bright red as she digests the truth. My sister judges everything and everybody so harshly that when her judgment falls on herself, it's like the end of the world. He still lied, she said, tight-lipped. He's not perfect, Brendan agrees, but think of the trouble he would have been facing if he had gotten blamed for all of that. It was you, and you saw an easy way out. Wouldn't you take it? If it was you, wouldn't you do the same? Shosh is stubborn. I wouldn't be in a mess like that, she says, because I don't hang around with pond scum. I look at her. We have to at least talk to him. I'm expecting more of an argument, but she nods, and I can think of plenty of things to say. One of those things should be, I'm sorry, Brendan puts in pointedly. She glares at him. Yeah, we'll see. But if it is, it'll be the last item on my list. Where is Chase? Kimberly asked in annoyance. Brendan, you said Chase was going to be here. Brendan is already on his phone talking with Mrs. Ambrose, and he frowns, thanks her, and hangs up. According to his mom, he's on his way to Portland Street. She said he was in a real big hurry. Did he forget to come? I asked. You think he forgot? Brendan shakes his head. He said he'd be here. He just texted a couple of hours ago. Shosh stands up. Let's go over to Portland Street. Ha! That's awesome. So, they saw the video. They saw that Chase did what he did, but he did it, and hitting Joel was an accident. Chase was actually in there trying to protect Joel. Chase was trying to make sense of everything. They know he lied about the fire. However, like Brendan said, you know how much trouble he would have been in. You would have done the same thing. They're all willing to talk to Chase to get this fixed, but Chase hasn't shown up yet. But at least now they know that he's on his way over to Portland Street. They just don't know why. Now, Shosh is familiar with Portland Street because she was spending just a great deal of time with Mr. Sloven, too. So, anyway, great chapter, wonderful. That was chapter 26. 27 is Aaron. I can't wait to get into that schmuck set. What a dope. Can't wait. Take care. Stay safe. Go outside. Mask up. Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and face. And I'll see you for the next chapter. Bye-bye.